It would have been fine. If you knew that this was your last trip around the sun, who is it that you would want to make peace with that you haven't made peace with because you just thought that you had all kinds of time? Maybe it's a family member that y'all have been on the outs for the last 20 years because y'all were upset about something that happened during the Clinton administration. I don't know. Maybe there's a person that you've been meaning to witness to because you know that they've never accepted Christ as their Lord and Savior, never had that moment where they asked Jesus to forgive them and come into their heart, and you know that if they don't get saved, they're going to die and go to hell, but you keep putting it off because it's going to be an awkward conversation. It's going to be an weird conversation because it's hard to talk to Jesus, hard to talk about Jesus to people that know you the best sometimes. And so you keep saying, well, I'm going to do it later, I'm going to do it later, I'm going to do it later. Well, what if this was your last year? What kind of priority would you put on it? Like I said just a minute ago, what relationships would you want healed if you knew that come New Year's Eve, at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve, that was going to be it, and you were going to stand before God? Would you want to be reconciled to your brother, your biological sister, maybe your grandparent, or maybe your mom or your dad, or a cousin or an in-law? What about if you knew that this was going to be your last year? How about the people in your life that you don't have problems with, that you love? Would you want to spend more time with them instead of sitting in front of that idiot box and watching, I don't know, reruns of Bonanza or watching Fox News or whatever it is that you watch when you sit down in front of the idiot box? Would you spend more time playing board games with your kids? Would you spend more time hugging your spouse and letting them know you are the light of my life? Would you spend more time just soaking up family? There's a song that Garth Brooks sings, and he talks about, I'm trying to remember exactly how it goes. Sometimes late at night I lie awake and watch her sleeping. She's lost in peaceful dreams, so I turn out the light and lay there in the dark. And the thought crosses my mind, if I never wake up in the morning, will she ever doubt the way I feel about her in my heart? If tomorrow never comes, that's the song. All right, I was going to get it. I knew I was going to get it. Will she know how much I loved her? Did I try in every way to show her every day that she's my only one? And if my life on earth were through and she must face this world without me, will the love I gave her in the past be enough to last if tomorrow never comes? Now, I know that everybody in here doesn't like country music. That's fine. But if you knew that on December the 31st, that was going to be it, how much more would you try and cram the days full of love with your loved ones? How much more would we try to make sure that those who are lost are saved before we go to meet our Maker? How much more would we make sure that our friends and family are prepared to go on without us? Like I said, I've stood beside more funerals and graves than I can count. And it's always heartbreaking to me when someone passes away, a husband or a wife, and then the remaining spouse is left just dumbfounded because she always did the laundry and she paid the bills and she did the cooking, and now here he is, 70, 80 years old, doesn't know how to turn on the stove, doesn't know how to wash his own clothes, because his wife always took care of it for him because she loved him. And now here he is, a 70-year-old man who's an infant in a home that he shared with her for 50 years, and he doesn't know how any of the stuff works. Or maybe it's him that died, and he paid all the bills, and he made sure that everything kept going. And now here she is, and she's in her 60s or she's in her 70s, and she doesn't know the bank account. She doesn't know where the money is. She doesn't know. She just doesn't know. Did he mean to leave her that way? No. The other scenario where the husband's left, did she mean to leave him basically as an invalid? No. But they didn't make preparation. Because we all live like tomorrow is a guarantee. But it's not. You know, I think about all these things. And the young people that are listening to me, some of them that are listening to me, I know that to you it seems like I've got plenty of time and the pastor's just rambling on, because when you're young, you think you're going to live forever. You don't actually think about it in those terms. I'm going to live forever. No. But when you're in your teenage years, 50 looks ancient. I know. Because I can tell my kids, and they laugh at me sometimes, I was where you are yesterday. I remember 13 like it was yesterday. I remember 21 like it was yesterday. I know where I was. I know what I was doing. And the 40-plus years that have passed and the 30-plus years that have passed went like that. And I have lost loved ones that I don't get that chance again. I was going to read to y'all the lyrics of a song, and I do have that printed out. It's a song from Casting Crowns called Scars in Heaven. If I had only known the last time would be the last time, I would have put off all the things I had to do. I would have stayed a little longer, held on a little tighter, know what I'd give for one more day with you. Because there's a wound here in my heart where something's missing. And they tell me that it's going to heal with time. But I know you're in a place where all your wounds have been erased, and knowing yours are healed is healing mine. The only scars in heaven, they won't belong to me and you. There'll be no such thing as broken, and all the old will be made new. And the thought that makes me smile now, even as the tears fall down, is that the only scars in heaven are on the hands that hold you now. That song has been out a few years, and I remember hearing it after my dad passed away. And it was hard for me to listen to, because as much as I love my mother, and I was close to my mother my entire life, Dad taught me what it was to be a man. Dad was always my hero. He was the one that I looked up to. He was the one that always made me feel safe, because Dad was big and strong and he protected the family. And my father was not an easy man to approach, and it had a lot to do with his upbringing. And I know that he loved my mother and he loved my brother and he loved me, but Dad was always not the most demonstrative kind of guy. And had I known the last time I was with him that it would have been the last time that I would have seen him, I would have treated him differently. I would have hugged him more. I would have told him more what he meant to me. But I didn't. Because the last time I saw him, I was putting him on a plane. He was going to Oregon to stay with my brother. And Dad had said to me, I'll see you soon. And I thought to myself, probably not. But I put him on the plane and I gave him a hug and I waved him goodbye, and that was it. Brothers and sisters, the Bible points out to us very plainly that time for us is a limited option. The Bible points out that if we know there's good we ought to be doing and we're not doing it, it's sin. If there's somebody that you know that needs to be witnessed to, don't wait. Get on with it. If God has called you to be reconciled to a family member, don't wait.